Hello, I'm Lorraine Mills, Senior Relationship Manager at the Krause Agency and specializing in Medicare. Today, I'm joined by Andy Larson, Allstate Health Solutions Vice President Field Sales of the Upper Midwest region. Andy started in the insurance industry in 2006 and has worked with both individual employer plans and selling directly to consumers. However, for the last 9 years, he has been working in the broker world and been a part of National General and Allstate. Andy will be found anywhere you can find Minnesota sports. He especially likes Gopher football, and he, along with his wife, will be found chasing after their 3 kids who passionately love the game of hockey. In this interview, Andy explains the transition from National General to Allstate Health Solutions. We also highlight many of the reasons why you will want to not only have this in your portfolio, but why you will want to write your client into an Allstate plan. Thanks, Andy, for joining for this interview. It's going to be great talking about Allstate Health Solutions. So to start us off, why don't you tell us a little bit about Allstate Health Solutions, and just explain a little bit about this recent transition that happened from the National General to Allstate so that people listening can kind of follow what's happened here in the last year or so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure to be with you to have this interview today, and appreciate the access. The Allstate rebrand that we've been experiencing over the last few weeks has been phenomenal. And there's so many exciting things that we can look forward to. But as you mentioned, Allstate Health Solutions rebranded. Previously, we're a National General Accident and Health for all individual products, and that acquisition took place about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, 1/1 of 2020. So from that standpoint, we've been going through the process of the rebrand. It's finally here, just in time for the enrollment season. And I think looking forward, what we can expect, Lorraine, is that while our agent partners did a great job of championing the National General brand, that brand wasn't always as widely recognizable to the consumer. So now we bring that Allstate Good Hands brand, the mayhem, college football, you see it everywhere on the field and behind the goalposts. That's going to resonate more with the clientele. And as you look at certain quoting platforms and whatnot that says Allstate Health Solutions, that's going to ring a bell with a widely recognized brand, just as widely recognized as any other carrier in the insurance industry, just for P&C reasons, right? But we're bringing it to the individual health space with our senior product line as well. We're really excited about that. A+ rating for the AM Best, so that's important for a lot of your agent partners, and the financial strength of a Fortune 50 company as well.
No, that's great, and I know that brought a lot of strength by having Allstate come behind that. So I saw that firsthand since I've been working with you guys prior to that acquisition from Allstate. So now with Allstate, the Medicare Supplement specifically, there's some really innovative approaches to the price discounts. And I know I've spoken to others there at Allstate about these innovative ways of doing discounts and different opportunities that come along with that. So if you could talk a little bit about some of those different innovative discounts that Allstate offers to those that may decide to go along with Allstate and purchase their Medicare Supplement through you.
For sure. And when we think about Medicare Supplement is by and large Medicare Supplement, right? So as we've evolved with the process of rebranding to Allstate and Allstate's interest in this market, we looked at it and said, well, how can we relaunch our product to make a splash in the space as we rebrand? And that was through innovation. And what we looked at was, well, do we just lower the rates for everybody? Well, you lower the rates for everybody and you undercut the market. We all know how that turns out, right? So what we've done with the discount program is we've targeted a series of discounts that can be stacked on top of each other. They're mutually exclusive of each other. So each client's situation may produce a different outcome when it comes to what the total discount is. But what we're doing is we're targeting these discounts through certain financial underwriting or behavior underwriting to where we believe that actuarially over time, that will help us attract a client that's going to keep our claim perspective in line in terms of attracting that risk that we believe will have a better claim outcome. Over time, that just means that our increases are manageable, our rates remain competitive, and therefore the idea of MedSup is you don't want to have to replace that business year over year. So keeping that business sustainable and over time manageable for you and your clients. And the discounts, again, they range anywhere from roommate discount, if more than one person in the house applies for Allstate Health Solutions MedSup at the same time, it's a dual household discount. If your client has ability to pay annually, some of that financial underwriting. And then also too, if you're a client that has a activity tracker and are willing to connect to Allstate and allow us to track those steps, no minimums, that's another discount. All in all, those discounts can add up to 25%. And when you think about it, in terms of the MedSup market, in some markets, there's a plethora of carriers. That might mean the difference between us being number 10 in a market and number one when you factor in that 25% discount, because some of those margins are razor thin in various markets. So we're really excited about what the discount program has done. It's created a lot of buzz in the market, and we're starting to see, a couple months in, the fruits of that labor in terms of getting the word out. It's really starting to take off right now.
No, that's great. Talk just for a moment, because I think it is also unique, is the preferred select pricing, which, as we're training some of the agents, we say, that's not where you want to start your quote. But I think it's important for them to understand that there is this other price bracket. So just mention that for a moment, talk about that. And then also talk about what happens when you bundle it with dental and the dental vision hearing plans that Allstate has.
For sure. And with regard to Preferred Select, in addition to the discounts, even before you get to the discounts and apply the discounts, the Preferred Select rating class is a new rating class to reward our most healthy with the best rate. And with the preferred rating class, there's really only one more criteria that your client has to meet. With our standard preferred rates, just the preferred rates, non-smoker and meet criteria on the build chart. For Preferred Select, it's non-smoker, meet a slightly different criteria on the build chart, but then no depression medication for the last 5 years, prescribed or recommended. And with that, if your client gets that lowest entry point over time, they're always going to be ahead of the curve. And based upon, you can get into the weeds in terms of how that over time that would play out, but there's going to be some rating advantages for those clients that are Preferred Select over time as well. So on the Preferred Selects, again, rewarding the most healthy with the best rate. And reality is about 70% of our clients were qualifying for Preferred Select anyhow. And right now we feel as though as we've implemented, it's about 60 to 65%. So margin of error is in line with that. Now on the other front here, with the dental side, we have a great dental vision hearing plan, no waiting periods for basic and major services. Aetna Dental Administrators Network, that's nationwide network. And if you were to bundle a still a habit of saying National General, but if you bundle a Allstate Health Solutions MedSup with Allstate Health Solutions Dental Vision Hearing, your client also gets a 10% discount on the dental vision hearing premium. So additional discounts apply above and beyond just the MedSup discounts.
No, that's great. Thanks, Andy, for going into that just a little bit more. I think it's important just to kind of call out some of those unique things that Allstate has available and offers. So question, because we have all these different discounts and you can bundle with the dental plan. The platform must be confusing and hard to use. And I'm saying that a little tongue in cheek, but Andy, talk a little bit about the platform, some of those really cool things that the platform has for agents when they submit those applications and when they also are working with that back office piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've developed our own proprietary e-application. It's called Enrollment Gen just because of National General prior, and we'll come up with a new name over time here as we continue the rebrand. But Enrollment Gen is a extremely slick system. We've been getting a lot of great feedback from our agent partners. And the reason behind that is because we have the intelligence and logic of the underwriting manual built in to where starting from just checking enrollment type, all the appropriate questions for enrollment type are going to be built in. It'll walk an agent down the path of that preferred or preferred select in terms of the questions to get them to that part. And then also too with the discounts, before you're going to get a preferred select or a select or a preferred rate, but there'll be a button right next to that rate that says calculate the discount. And it'll walk an agent through what those discounts are, tell them the percent that they're getting for those discounts when they check yes or no to that question. So that it'll tell it's either the full 25% or maybe it's only 5%. But then it will allow the agent to pick, click, and go. There'll be a button that pops up that says additional discounts are available to your cart. Click here and it'll talk about the dental piece. You can add the dental piece to the cart and then begin the application. As I mentioned, the application itself has the intelligence and logic of the underwriting manual. So therefore, we're asking the questions in a certain way where it's almost a matter of simplified underwriting to an extent. And within the system, we call that the Instant Decision Underwriting Tool because 80% of our apps are issued on the spot. Now, as we get into enrollment periods, that might fluctuate a little bit just because of busier times. But those other 20% that are not issued on the spot are typically issued within 24 to 48 hours. And then the nice part about the Instant Decision apps that do go through and their instant issue is that with the ID cards, an agent will have a temporary ID card available to them in their agent back office within the hour. So you can imagine if you sell a med sup policy, there's always that waiting game for that policy pack to arrive in the mail. Well, you can avoid that, at least get something in that client's hand within an hour and give them that peace of mind saying, yep, I got something with the Allstate logo on it. I know it's only temporary, but this will at least hold me over. So that's a good piece for the agent to be able to provide the client. The back office tool is where everything originates. That's your hub for all things individual with Allstate. And all the quoting originates from the back office, but in the back office, an agent can view their book of business. They'll see alerts in terms of those clients that might be behind on their payments or pending applications, et cetera. And then also too, there'll be all sorts of resources and guides for the agent to do business with Allstate Health. So the agent tools, we're continuing to evolve. We're continuing to get better. We talk weekly about how we can get these tools better. And as we continue the rebrand process, you can expect even further enhancement to those tools.
That's one thing I've noticed is that you guys are taking things and trying to make it better for the agents every day. I mean, it seems like a turnaround and there's something else new and great or just works smoother. So that's great.
Well, and I just add to that, sorry to interrupt, but I think the biggest thing to that is we want to take our agent feedback. And I've been on numerous phone calls with various agent partners just to, hey, what can we do different here? What do you think about the quoting platform? Where it looked February of 2020 compared to what it does today, it's completely different. And that's just based on the feedback that we get from our agent partners and, what works for you, what would you think worked for you and the broader agent community at large? So,
yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So one of the questions I get periodically is, can I talk to the underwriters? I have a situation. I'm not quite sure if they even would qualify. Am I able to talk? Or something's happened within the app. They were declined for a reason, and they just want to talk to the underwriters to find out more. Is that possible through Allstate?
Yeah, in terms of underwriters, I obviously want to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt in terms of making sure that we're going to them for the right reasons, right? We do have a dedicated line for applications and process that will get them kind of triage to the underwriters. But ultimately, too, our sales team is set up to where we have specific managers for our over and under 65 product line. So it's recommended that as in terms of before going straight to an underwriter that we contact our sales team. So Chris Neek is on our sales team. We can get you that contact information because sometimes, too, before we get to that underwriter, when they're kind of going through all their case files, especially this time of year, Chris might be able to help you get through that piece of underwriting or we have the underwriters. They'll contact the agent if there are certain things within the application that need to be amended. So there'll certainly be that communication, and that communication can go back and forth through the underwriters. But if we get into situations where we're looking at just general rulings and things like that, certainly our sales team is able to get those questions, and we do have other intermediaries between the sales and underwriting to help kind of focus on those type of deals, so the underwriters can keep on moving those applications that are in process in and out the door and keep those timeframes going.
Yeah, and I will add that I know you and the whole team they're very responsive and respond very quickly. So if an agent does have a question, I know that Chris responds really quick. You respond quick. You know, if they needed to speak with somebody else, I know that they're gonna respond. So that's the other great part. You know, the customer service to the agents along with the members is great. So, so talk a little bit. So we spent most of our time talking about Medicare supplements and the dental vision hearing. Just mention briefly some of the other products that are available through Allstate Health Solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. And to put a bow on senior market, we also have a senior indemnity product that's available. It's a great product for those that might not have, or for those that may have missed their Medicare window, their Part B sign up. So maybe then that lockout period, or maybe someone who doesn't have enough credits to qualify for Medicare, recently emigrated perhaps. But it'll provide a first dollar benefit for those particular individuals to help provide some relief for their either their Part A or just in general senior market type of coverage. Also, too, we are going to be launching in first quarter of 2023 a final expense product that we're very excited about. So be on the lookout for that. But in general, to answer your initial question, is that when you contract with Allstate Health Solutions, an agent will get access to our full product portfolio. And that's the senior market, but also where we've actually built our business as National General is on the under 65 side of the coin. And with that, that's short-term medical, indemnity products, and then our suite of supplemental products that include dental, accident, specified disease, hospital, term life. On the under 65 space, we have solutions for all agents. And you can argue, our tagline we say is all things individual. Solutions for all agents, and solutions for all ages. So you can write a policy for a client as little as 60 days old, up to 99 years old. So again, you get access to the breadth of the full portfolio as you contract with Allstate Health Solutions.
No, thanks for mentioning those different products, because sometimes those are, they definitely are needed. And if you already have it, it's even easier to be able to access that and use something.
Turnkey. Yep. It's all originates from the back office. The agent will have a button that says quote individual, quote senior, and over time it's going to all blend in together on the same platform. So you enter in a date of birth, will populate available products for that particular client.
No, that's great. That's great. So is there anything else you think would be important to share with somebody who's considering Allstate or taking a look at Allstate here today?
Absolutely, and I think we touched a little bit on this, but there's the team support that agents can experience. We internally we call it the red carpet white glove treatment, because brokers are our business and our success is predicated upon theirs. So we have to make sure that the agent is free of any roadblocks. And so our sales teams are structured to have dedicated people in the field, dedicated people internally to help support agents when they're on the phone with that client, or they are about ready to go into a meeting. They can't get into their system. Between Chris and then Sherry on the under 65 side, they're subject matter experts on that front. And we do have, being that this is enrollment season, we do have some pre-canned enrollment prep webinars that can be viewed. And then lastly, we have, if we want to talk about bonus, we do have bonuses that we launch every quarter as well. And we have a really good one here for fourth quarter as well. So it's predicated on the amount of apps that you submit. And then the enrollment type. So it's either for underwritten, T65 clients apply as well. And then also for, if you're in a state such as Missouri or California for anniversary, birthday rule, we offer bonuses for all enrollment types, except for guarantee issue. But for turning 65 especially, we're offering bonuses. So make sure that you get with Lorraine to understand what those bonuses look like.
Thanks, Andy. And Andy, thanks for taking the time out today and doing this interview to help, our advisors just learn more about Allstate and really why they should have that in their portfolio. So thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we are currently in fourth quarter. So all the best here as we wrap up that fourth quarter.
Thank you, Lorraine. Appreciate it.